Okay, and then I wanted to show you the 3D model we have for this part. If you want to 3D print one of these, or perhaps you want to 3D print one to use as a template for making one on a lathe. So here's the open SCAD file. It's set up to make the two versions of the shift rod bearing, either the A1 version, which has the smaller diameter opening, and then the A2 and the A3 are larger 16 millimeter diameter. You can either edit the open SCAD file over here on the left side, or I've gone ahead and added all the customizer setup so that you can just click over here. So if you want to go from the A1 to the A2, that's all you need to do. It'll either do 14 or 16 millimeter, or you can type in some exact number. And then we have some parameters here. There's the ID clearance parameter, which you can use to dial in your specific printer and filament. So you can add or subtract a few tenths of a millimeter to get the inside diameter ID the correct amount. Like if the part is too tight on your shift rod, you can then add some amount to clearance. And then let's see, we have a chamfer parameter, which just chamfers the ends of the part. And then under style, we have three different styles. You can do the smooth part here. It's just a smooth outside, and that would be typical if you're going to turn this on a lathe. Then there's the groove version right here. That approximates the look of the factory bushing. And again, you could probably do this on a lathe. We generally don't add that groove, but if you wanted to add one to make it look a little more like the original, you can do that. And both these are solid inside. And then we also have a hollow version, which is just like the factory part. It has the ribs inside. So let's go ahead and render this part here so you can see. So it's got the grooves on the outside, it has the ribs on the inside, and then this part is actually hollowed out. So if you wanted to print this in something like a TPU flexible filament, you could very much duplicate the factory part, and that might be useful, especially on the A2 and A3 platforms, because they can use two of these parts. One of them goes up front under the steering rack, and that part you can take that bracket apart and put this bushing in, and then put some nuts and bolt screws to hold it back together. But there's also one of these bushings back by the shifter, and that part needs to be squeezed into a hole. You can't disassemble the housing. You've got to squeeze a flexible bushing and shove it through the hole and let it pop up inside. So in that case, something like this would be very useful. And we've got a wall thickness here. You can adjust the wall thickness. So you have a lot of options. You can turn this on a lathe. We give you the parameters here, the material, UHMW polyethylene. You could use Teflon or Delrin, some sort of a slippery plastic material. You could 3D print this out of nylon, works well. TPU, flexible filament if you want a flexible part. You could probably also use something like ABS or PETG, make a hard filament, and then like in that case, you might want to sand the outside down to make it nice and smooth, and then have that just snugly fit inside of your housing and apply a little bit of grease in there to let it move. But anyway, I'll add a link to this 3D parts model in the video description if you want to download that. You can either print one, or if you have a lathe, you can turn one following the instructions in this video. So hopefully that is helpful. If you have any questions, drop those in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.